Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of the Hot Rod Blues podcast. I am Shawn Brereton, and I am here with my boys, Shawn Young from Kingfish Metalworks.
What's up, everybody?
Javi Agustin, Bomber Steel Customs.
Mike Abbott, Steel Rose Metal Co.
That's right, and we are back in Steel Rose.
Absolutely.
With better lighting this time.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have the car as a prop because it doesn't run.
It'll run.
It'll run. I can crank it right now.
It won't drive.
Yeah,
Right.
It's car shaped.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any headers on it.
Static
Yeah.
display.
Yeah. We don't need stinking headers. That ain't got nothing to do with the running.
Right. Awesome.
Still a 32 though, so you know
It is a 32.
Yeah, you got that part right. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's
all
got
all
the
steel
shape.
car, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
as far as you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Steel-
man.
Steel Rose.
Steel Rose car.
Nice.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Well,
All right, what are we going to talk about, boys?
well, guys, I guess we should apologize for taking so long. We kind of thought we would have this.
Absolutely.
Thought we would have this ironed out before now. We had some technical difficulties last week, but I think we came back bigger, better, and stronger. So it's going to be good, guys. So thanks for being patient.
Why
with
don't
us.
you explain that, John? What
Okay, all right,
happened?
guys. I screwed up big time last weekend. So it's I guess since nobody else wants to take the blame,
I can't take the blame. I was cut out.
Well, there you go.
That's
All
right.
So
Hobby wasn't even in the room, so.
So
I
we
saw that coming.
I had 2 buttons that I didn't push to record audio, and we also had software that just bit the dust. So I've been recording the audio twice just to have it, because a lot can go wrong. So nevertheless, a lot went wrong, and I completely wasted everybody's time last week. So
You didn't waste my
thank you,
time.
thank you. I didn't waste Javier's
I got a
time.
kick out of it. I got a phone call afterwards about how the team fell apart when I wasn't there. I was sad, but I also I'm Raps MVP.
You weren't sad.
I called him
During
instantly.
the show. No, it was
Yeah, I called
during
him
the show.
during the show and right after, and
And
I was
I
like,
said,
Javier, we need you.
I was hurting my ear trying to listen to what was going on because when you don't have the earphones on, it just sounds like you're in a coffee cup listening to somebody argue in the next room. So,
It does sound like that. That's a
so,
very
yeah.
that's a very good analogy there.
And
Hobby.
to be fair, it sounded like y'all were falling apart. So I was really sad and also happy that you guys love me so much it won't work without the chemistry.
Oh, that's crap.
I'm invited back.
Yeah, at least once more.
4 Horsemen at it
Yes,
again.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
Anyway,
All right.
let's not stale it up. What
I
did
know.
we do car wise this week? And
Oh,
last week. Well, I guess we have 2 weeks to catch up on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
For me, I went to Nashville and bought a bunch of parts, actually for my 53 Ford pickup. Luckily, I met a guy a long time ago, and I met him at a car show, and he said, "Hey, man, I've got a ton of parts. If you'll call me one day, I'll hook you up." And I had lost his number and found it within a couple of weeks of going to Nashville, and this guy hooked me up. I came home with 2 beds, 4 fenders, an extra set of fenders, another tailgate, the gravel pan that's under the front. So I hooked up, man. This guy took care of me. So
Nice.
I have done car stuff for sure.
Absolutely.
See, I was in Nashville too, but I didn't. Well, I bought a bunch of stuff, but I
Let's go to
didn't
this.
sell anything.
Well, let's break that down. You went to make money, and how much did you make, Shawn?
Not 0. I'm probably $900 in the hole now. I think. I don't know. No, I don't know how much. Well, yeah, like if you count the prints that I bought to sell, and then the stuff that I bought while I was there, yeah, I'm probably about $800 maybe. But yeah, no, I bought a bunch of prints to sell. Didn't sell any, but I learned a lot. Like people aren't going to a car swap meet to buy artwork, but
I told you what you should have done.
what?
You should have took some scandally clad, lewd pictures of yourself in a loincloth and tried to sell those. It would have worked.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Ted Nugent style.
Absolutely.
Just full spread.
No, but I did buy some. I bought some really cool beer signs for my bar.
Say Steins or Signs?
Signs.
Pan.
Signs. Signs. Yeah. No, they're beer signs.
Yeah.
One is a Fall City, old school one that has like the waterfall kind of thing that goes on. It scrolls. And then the other 2 are 2 Stroh's sconces that are pretty cool. And then I also bought a front bumper for my desk, which is 55 Chevy. I've been needing a front bumper on it forever, but now I just
thought
got to
you had
figure out.
one.
What?
No.
Why didn't you just take the front bumper off your car?
You got a 55 Chevy.
I
front
do
bumper,
have a
huh?
55 Chevy front bumper, but I kind of need it on the car. So
Yeah.
Do you know? You're always driving
Yeah.
the Fairlane.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I do have 55, and I'm actually shooting it tomorrow.
He's always driving the Fairlane is because he wants to drive a dependable Ford. That's the reason why he doesn't drive the 55 all the time.
That is not true.
You don't think I'd be looking, but I'd be looking.
Right, right.
You in the fair lane. You in the right lane in the fair lane, but
That-
you there.
I'm in the left lane with the fair lane.
For sure.
That fair lane, it sits at a high average speed.
Here we go. Give me the specs, man. I love it every week.
Talk about the engine and burn.
Yeah.
Tell you about
those ratios of the gears.
Right. My fuel injected.
When I pull up to the light, people just turn their car off.
It's because they're
It's
programmed
not-
to do that. The
it's
new
not
cars just do that. They're
fast.
not
That's
scared
right.
of you. They're
Right.
programmed to do that. They
That's
just
right.
It automatically shuts
saving
off.
gas.
That's right, for fuel economy.
You'll learn when you get that 4.8 in there.
He's like that.
Yeah. Right?
The 4.8 or the 4.6.
4.6.
Which one?
Four
For what?
six.
For
4.6,
what?
I guess.
4.8 would be the LS. The 4.6.
Yeah, my bad. I
You're
don't
right.
know.
No, I want to
Man,
sound like a
I don't
Cobra.
I don't do liters. I do cubic inches.
He does lines.
Oh.
I don't do that.
So the new Ford truck, I think, has a 2-liter in it. I saw a commercial the other day, and
What?
I just can't imagine
What?
a motor that's only 2 liters.
Turbo?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It'd have to be.
doesn't
I mean,
matter.
For Christ's sake, but 2 liters?
Well,
I mean, that's like what you buy at a convenience store.
My
Right.
dad's,
You know?
Right.
my dad's
Of soda.
My dad's got the F-150, and it's got I think a 3.4 or something in it, but
Wow.
it's twin turbo. It moves.
Yeah.
It moves out pretty good
Yeah. I guess. I mean, if
for a
you're,
Ford.
Twin screws.
No.
Twin screw Garrett
N95 turbo.
if you're into stuff that isn't cool, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
What about you, Mike?
I got a
I know.
1.8 liter.
I don't have anything. I mean, the engine is new in the fair lane, but like I don't own anything new.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I got into that thing because I drove it up to Nashville, and it was like, the phone was trying to connect, and you had all this crap, and then it told you, if you got over the line, and it's
Right.
just annoying. Like I
hate
just want to drive a car. I don't
Right.
I didn't-
I
you
don't
know what
need
I-
it to tell me how
I
to
totally
do
get
it.
it. My the Silverado I've got, it's got the high country package. It's used, but there's no way to disable it, or I haven't found it because I'm not going to read the manual like nobody else does. But when you hit in reverse, it's got a parking sensors all around it. So what you wind up getting is the seat. It'll vibrate and flash at you.
The seat vibrates.
It's so annoying. I'm like, I get it. Yeah, I'm backing up. There's stuff behind me, and you have to disable it every time. There's no way to get away.
Oh, wow, that's annoying. One thing that I found out too, a few years ago. It was actually 2 years ago. I think I flew into San Diego to go back to Power Auto Media in Temecula, and just a regular old rental car.
Right.
And I set the cruise control on it, and I'm cruising along, and then next thing you know, like I'm going, God, man, I feel like I'm going slow, and I look down, I'm like, why am I doing 60? And I'm not catching that car up ahead of me. They have,
'Cause you're in-
cruise control now has like radar on it, so that if you get close to the
It'll
car in
set.
front of you, it slows down.
Yeah, it'll slow you down.
It is
Yeah.
annoying
Yeah.
as hell.
My wife's
I
brand
hate
new
it
car
when
does that.
I hate it when I don't get in a wreck too.
Well, I tell you, it's annoying until you
Man.
get used to it, and then you drive your old truck that's got cruise without that, and you almost crash into a bunch of shit.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm there. I'm that guy.
I don't get-
which
I
one
don't
you
get used
talking
to
about the F-150 or the
Yeah, so my wife's her car has that
the Charger thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got that deal on it.
Yeah.
Where if you're going down the road, it will it'll actually brake. If somebody slams
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
brakes, it will stop the car.
So Silverado, same thing.
Yeah.
Seat vibrates.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But
Chevy made a lot of women happy when,
Oh, did
when they came out with that.
It's like setting on the washing machine.
If you ever see a high country package behind you and it's a female driving,
Right.
There's a reason for that.
She's too close for a reason.
She only drives in traffic.
Right.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
all right.
Wow.
Does nothing for me.
Right.
I've tried. Backwards or forwards. Doesn't matter.
It's like the old cars. I think people that have never driven one or owned one don't realize that driving an old car is an event.
Right.
It's
You
not,
drive it.
You yeah. I mean, it's yeah. You really have to. It's a coordination thing. Where a lot of your new cars, you just kind of get in and wheel it. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I just love the
different.
I love the personality of every car that anybody's ever in the old car world, vintage car world, car you built. There's always a personality. There's always quirks. We touched a little bit on it with Mike's 48 when we were at the Blyville Mile with Ray about just the trick.
Yeah,
stuff
you
that had
got
to
certain
happen.
things you got to do.
So like
yeah.
my very first car that vintage car was that 64 four-door, which if anybody has it, please call. The number's at the bottom of the screen. 555, please.
Javier Augustine on Facebook.
Yeah. You know what? I'll actually give that picture to Shawn. I think it
Okay.
would warrant.
I'm
going to
gonna
give
do
you.
it.
It's a really sad picture.
Do
of
you
me
think it's in
with-
town?
It could be. I mean, last time I saw it was on Highway 51. That bastard.
It's a
Wouldn't sell it.
red 64.
No. It's Azure Aqua with a white top. You're going to get me. See how you talk about your
Azure
gear ratio?
He's fixing to cry.
It's a
Azure
factory
Aqua.
327 Azure Aqua with a white top. It's a hard top. It's got the finger hut special. For those of you that don't know, it's got the plastic on the seat still. And there's a dent where I kicked it because I was mad at my girlfriend.
You kicked your car because you were mad at your
No,
girlfriend?
I didn't.
Oh my god! I was gonna say, man, you need to just leave now.
There's a dent on the rocker from where I took a turn too sharp, and there was like a boulder or curb or something.
He
Okay.
had it when he was a teenager. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I know, but you don't kick cars.
I've kicked cars.
You kick somebody else's car.
No.
I've never kicked my own car.
How often do you turn hard wrenches on your cars?
I mean,
Have you never?
Yes.
I know that everyone else besides you, and you're going to jump in and say yes, has busted a knuckle on something and be like,
Oh.
"You son of a."
Absolutely, but I don't hit the car.
What do you hit? The wife. I knew
Yes.
it.
So
I just go and beat my wife.
I knew it.
Honey, my knuckles are bleeding.
Come here.
She's.
God.
I guess she went to the store again. She's always gone.
Guess I'll just have to hit the dog.
To be fair,
Yeah.
we don't endorse domestic violence.
Correct.
That's right.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows my wife can beat me up anyway. So.
We have video now, Shawn. You're not the big guy you thought you were on video.
That's right. She works out every day. I do not.
Right.
This is the most workout I do right here, boys.
That's right. 12 ounces.
Don't raise fists, raise bottles.
Right?
Mike,
Mike, what have you
Hey.
been doing, man?
into
Hey.
the table,
Hey.
not just sitting there
Man,
waiting.
I have been working like a dog. We got a reasonable amount. I say we.
And
because,
speaking of dogs, if anybody hears like jingling going on, his
actually,
his
yeah.
dogs
He's
are
got two pups.
his dogs are walking around here.
Yeah.
Want to get one in front of the camera?
I always have at least one dog with me at the shop because it's like when I feel like I'm about to lose control, I got a dog, right?
Yeah, be like,
And be like,
hey,
"Ah, we're
buddy,
good.
what's
We're
up?
good."
Oh, yeah.
It just comes up.
You can't be mad.
not
you
in
can't
front
be
of the
mad.
children.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't be mad when they come wagging their tail at you.
Right.
You know
you're
what,
like,
there's-
life's okay.
Yeah.
We're
Life's
far
okay.
enough into this, and everyone's really recognized in the last few years. It's something that mankind has always known.
Yeah.
Four-legged friends, dogs,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
There is therapy there.
Yeah,
it's
for
a
sure.
reason why those creatures were befriended, and
Yeah.
we have that relationship.
Right.
And I'm glad that we're celebrating. I love dogs.
There can also be anxiety, though.
What do you mean? Dogs like giving you anxiety?
Yeah. Yeah, if you,
You ever have
crazy,
kids?
Crazy dog.
Oh.
No, I just
That's
no,
why you're tough
man.
with-
Yeah.
You don't know what anxiety is.
I know, yeah. I will agree 100% with that.
Dogs are anxiety.
Yeah. I can't leave my kids at home without me. But yeah, me and Javier, we jumped on the 32. We got the hairpins moved.
Yep.
We reworked the panhard bar on it, so I wound up having to Z the panhard bar just to keep from moving the mount off the frame. Reworked the mount on the rear end. Got the transmission mounted, the radiator mounted. The grill shell is just kind of loosely mounted. I am down to reworking the brake lines. The brake lines were worked like they're way too far back, so the rubber lines like pull hard when you turn it.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
I got to
I want that.
rework the brake lines up forward.
You can put steel braided lines on there, though.
You haven't lived working on a car till you've had a sketchy trigger cutoff wheel
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
underneath the car.
Yes.
And you're like, because anyone listening and anyone at this table, you should know by now, based on the kind of show we are,
Right.
how dangerous and sketchy as shit a damn cutoff wheel is when it explodes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've all got scars on our hands.
Yeah.
You act like a badass, but secretly, while you're under there doing it, you're like, yeah, this probably looks cool, but you're like, please don't. Please.
Right.
Not
Don't come
today.
apart.
I have fingers that I need to do stuff with tomorrow.
Right. That's right. I got a 4-inch scar in my belly from an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel that came apart and half the wheel went through my stomach. I had to pull it out with pliers. Yeah, I got a vicious scar on my stomach from that.
So
And 5 days later, the angle grinder died. You're like the Chuck Norris of angle grinder.
Chuck Norris, a car building.
That tool worked sporadically for 5 days, then it just died.
Yeah.
So I bought a cutoff wheel at NSRA in Knoxville. I think there's a company there that they're out of Nashville that it's steel or whatever, it has like diamond
You know,
bits on it, and
yeah,
you can
yeah.
like
he
when
and I have
it
talked
wears
about
out, you
this.
just turn it in
And they'll sharpen it and trade you out?
Yeah, they'll trade it out.
I was excited about that. You can get those types. It starts with an L, and somebody else.
There's a
either
few-
texted
yeah,
it,
there's a
but
few
you can get it
different
at
companies that
Lowe's. I was really impressed with them at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, I brought it to shop night like a year and a half, 2 years
hate
ago.
'em.
And I was like, check this out, Mike. I had a new toy. I was like, look, man, it'll cut through carbon steel. And you looked right at it, and you were so polite, and you were like, that's cool.
Yeah. I hate those things.
That's cool. Why don't
Well, they
you
just wear out too
why don't you
quicker.
cut that? They're kind of dangerous.
Well, they
honestly.
wear out, but like the biggest deal is like, okay, so with composite cutoff wheel, right? If it kicks back on you, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get in a bind and it's going to break that thing, right? So a lot of times it's came dangerously close to hurting me, but because the cutoff wheel shattered,
Disintegrated, yeah.
right? It didn't run the cutoff wheel through my artery. With a steel one,
There's
that's
no
not the
give.
case. It's not shattering.
It's coming.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
it catches it, just
No, it's coming.
Yeah. And I used some of those on a little die grinder when, I don't know if it was when they first came out, but when I first was aware of them, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And man, I used
yeah,
that
but
thing.
die grinder. Ooh, yeah.
I used that thing a couple of times, and I'm like, well,
Never
one,
again.
it gets dull really quick.
It does.
Yeah.
Super quick. And
It's impressive
two,
for the first 5 minutes, and
Right.
then after that, it's like
Yeah.
you're having to push
it's
more.
just like a
pressure on it.
sawzall blade,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
changing those constantly. Well, those things they're higher than 15 packs of
Yeah, they're
of
$45 a
composite.
blade for a 7-inch
yeah,
blade.
I think the one I got cost $100.
Wow,
or
that's
something.
a
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, as often as I use one.
Hold on. Hold
I
on.
don't.
We got a spam risk. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
he's always answering the phone.
Hello.
I know.
Hello. No. Nothing.
No, not gonna happen.
They hung up on me. They didn't want to be on the radio. I love talking to those people.
Yeah, it's annoying, Mike. I mean,
I love it.
He does, but if you've ever gone anywhere with him, he'll make a special point just to talk to those people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
that's-
do not even answer.
I don't have a desire to.
I always laugh. I always laugh though when I get those extended warranty things. I'm like, I have a 66 and a
that-
55. Like,
and that's what Abbott
far do
does.
they extend?
He just has to,
you know where my
confuse-
problem with that stuff comes in? It's from when I was growing up and I was left alone really young as a single
Yeah.
mom. And my anxiety about answering the phone and talking to a weirdo like that is
Yeah.
that I was always told that whoever was coming to the door would kill me. So like by my mother, like don't answer the door. Like when you're
She
a kid.
would tell you that they're
Yeah.
going to kill
No,
you.
but like give hints. Like
Right.
he's probably gonna kill you. Could have been a she. I don't want to discriminate.
Subtle hints. Subtle
as
hints.
you're,
They probably have a knife.
And I was also the older brother, so I was
Right.
like, I'm the protector. So secretly, I had a steak knife that had a rounded edge on it that was going to do nothing for anybody in the house.
I
But-
feel like you're jumping into all kinds of stereotypes.
What? And what?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well-
the common stereotypes that Mexican people carry knives.
how many brothers and
That's
sisters?
Puerto
do you
Rican.
have?
Oh,
That's Puerto Ricans?
Puerto Ricans.
Oh,
Is
wow.
It? Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
The only
the
thing,
knife-
the Mexicans carry pride. That's all, that's all we carry.
Is it?
It's just a bunch of pride.
These feast and my
I
pride.
have is my pride and my fist,
So the my
and I
dog.
don't break them for nobody.
Sorry, man.
Anyway, I'm sorry I cut you
Oh,
off.
I was going to tell you the
I'm very proud to let you say something.
the people that call for any kind of telemarketers. What I used to do when we got back from China with Chandler. She didn't speak any English, and it was all Chinese. And when people would call, I would answer the phone and just hand her the phone. And you've got this little Chinese kid speaking Chinese, and it was great.
That could backfire. That could totally
so
backfire, though. I don't. How old was Chandler when she got to you?
3 or 4.
She's old enough to order some stuff.
Yeah.
Like if they calling from China.
Yeah.
You're like, here, Chandler, take that. And she's like, what? And then all of a sudden she walks off. She's like, Nishi, shishi, nishi. You're like, oh no, give me the phone back. Give me the phone back. He says delivery in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So like maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, I had one of those spam risk, and they were trying to sell me a
Yep.
trip. I had that guy agreeing to so much. He was going to set me up on a trip to Mexico with a kilo of cocaine and his sister.
Wow.
And she was chubby and I said, but I'm married, and he said that's okay. And
Doesn't
this
matter.
guy was trying to sell me everything. It was hilarious. It was a good time.
A kilo of cocaine.
Where were
Yes.
you going?
Wow.
Where were you going?
He was trying to sell me a trip initially to like Cancun or something
Okay.
like that, but he wound up agreeing to sell me a trip to Mexico City or something
Okay.
to that effect.
And then he included the drugs and his obese sister.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
You know what? Takes a lot of pride to do that.
I'll tell you what, man.
He was trying to seal the deal.
You got to be a proud Mexican to offer up your fat sister.
Javier just dialed the wrong number. It was a butt dial.
That was you? I was trying to order pizza, and that turned into a sales pitch. Might as well clock in. Hey, I don't make fun of your hustles. You don't make fun of my hustle, okay?
Do your thing.
I'm doing a couple things, okay?
Do your thing. Yeah.
All right, Javi.
You got to pay for hot rod parts.
Exactly.
What'd you do this week?
Well, I didn't make a sale.
2 weeks.
I definitely did.
What'd you
something.
buy? Because you buy something every week.
Oh, that's judgy.
Right.
I'm
It's a
just
swap
saying,
meet.
you just buy stuff.
In this world,
Like,
Shawn,
I wish I could buy every week. I just can't.
you buy Steins? Signs.
Signs.
It looked like beer mugs from Germany. Was that not?
Well, that
On
was
your
on
shelf?
one of the.
Well,
it was like a shelf with it.
yeah,
The
it's a
sconces
scone.
were-
The sconces look like beer steins. Yeah.
So that I
kinda.
wasn't wrong.
Well, kind of, but
Not
yeah.
really.
Not really.
It was like plastic,
Steins.
kind of shaped like a beer stein.
You paid $900 for plastic Steins.
No,
and
I
I'm
didn't.
the
buy
guy
it.
that pays
No,
too
no,
much
no, no,
money.
no. Those were not that expensive.
Okay. Anyway, so
Just
the
all,
question was
that was all total. Like driving there, what I spent on my signs to sell. Which, by the way, they are hanging now at Art and Speed.
I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Auto enthusiasts got a spot at the
That's
Art and
right.
Speedo.
Art and Speed.
Are they there on consignment?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I just
you gotta
they'll
mention
they'll
that.
sell them for me. Yeah.
They're,
So if
they're
anybody,
on,
if
they're, on
anybody wants to buy them,
they're on consignment.
consignment. I see what you did there.
Ah, you see
Nice.
that?
Yeah,
Takes
no.
a lot of pride to say some stupid joke.
That's a good point.
I got to get Mr. Kingfish over here to make me a cool metal sign to go over the
Yeah.
top of them, so that I have a gallery wall
So
there.
That's going to be high.
I'm gonna hit him up for $1,000 so he can sell $200 in photography.
Exactly.
Well, he's got the pockets for it.
That's
Yeah.
I went to make money.
money.
I went to make money and spent $900.
It's funny.
That's how I do it.
Speaking of which, back to me. By the way,
Yeah.
I didn't really go to make money. I was going to see what we said. You were asking what I've done. Since you guys forewent me at the last stuff, I went on a whole personal journey and looked for some parts. But
A sabbatical.
is it? No, I think sabbaticals where you don't do anything.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what did you buy?
Shawn Young and I made a trip early. So this was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
We made a trip to.
Some weird little town in Tennessee that it doesn't get ice when it snows.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was like ice everywhere until we got there.
It was it was
freaky, bizarre.
Starts with an L. What is it?
Hell. Yeah,
Hell. Yes. That's ends with an L. Starts with an L. It never froze over. Anyway, the poor as these things usually go, and anyone listening goes. Unfortunately, the best deals usually happen when there's a death in the family. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family, and the wife is having to relocate. So through some other people in the hot rod community, it was like, hey, this guy's got a lot of A model stuff, early Ford stuff. So sent some pictures to Shawn. We set a date, and she met us on the weekend. So Shawn will include some pictures that from the pic we did.
Yeah, there's some on Facebook, I think, right?
Yeah, a couple. We'll probably. You think it'd be a good idea to stick it on the podcast so they can see that. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
wide 5 stuff. What really stuck with me is, I'm real big on the wide 5 stuff, and then we've got the early 30s, mid 30s Ford I-beams.
Yeah, bought some axles.
And and I'm going to reiterate the whole thing about this. What's exciting for me is picking is fun for anybody that loves saving stuff. It's about, to me, it's about, this is stuff that would otherwise have been melted down at the scrapyard.
Right.
In that little town, and they would have got whatever scraps going for, probably a little less because it's a small town, and then it's sent off to China and melted down, and we buy it back. But it's so important to preserve the original pieces that are left. So I find it kind of like a responsibility to at least go and look, and if you can, some of that stuff wasn't even mint. Like there was some bends, and so we're gonna have to address some issues with some of those I-beams, but. Got a rear end, wide 5 rear end, a couple of 36 with the dog leg radius arms.
Yeah.
Whether I sell them or keep them for a later build, at least they're in a safe place where we can actually put it back into the community. So that was the main spirit of that, and there were some other things. And the gentleman was a body shop guy. There were some money cars in there.
What is a wide 5?
The
Actually,
wide 5
I can go
bolt
get one.
pattern.
I'm gonna go get that.
the bolt
I'm
pattern
gonna
of
step
the-
off and get it. There's
Yeah.
like little.
Yeah,
there you go.
he's talking about the
Show
wide
it
5 bolt pattern. His specifically are a style of artillery wheels that he wanted to get, basically to rehoop them.
Yeah, a lot of dirt track guys. That's kind of a dirt
Oh,
track.
okay. Yeah. All right.
So, well, it's important. It's actually cool. We'll actually talk. We'll talk about it. Let me get it back up. For the build, we don't even know if this is going to work. For the build that I'm doing for the sedan,
Put it up on the
I will
table.
in a second. I don't want to knock anything over, but I'll talk about it for a second. So the sedan, I love the wide 5s, and when I encountered them, I was like, man, that's really cool. Artillery wheels, wide 5 is kind of a unique thing to me. They have repops, and for anybody that doesn't know, I don't want to talk down. Repop is a reproduction. It's not the genuine article. And what I'm doing is not the genuine article, but it's in the same spirit of what hot rodders were doing back then, which is taking something, making it work for you with the stuff you have. So Mike and I had this idea with the wide 5. It's a 16 originally. There's a very rare version of it that runs an 18.
Yeah. It's like big truck.
Big truck, same pattern, but they're so hard to find. And when you do, for just 2, they're about $1,000.
Yeah.
Just for the rim.
Yeah,
and there's
they're
no
high.
telling if they're going to work because they're usually rotted. So
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
and even though that they're 18s, they're 18 by 6.
Right, so you still
So
run
you're
the chance
limited.
of like widening them. So
Right.
what we wound up doing and coming up with was rehooping it on a 17-inch rim hoop, which required some modification, and maybe we throw some pictures on that or a tech video. But basically, we took the center hoop out of the original wheel, which is this silver piece, and we
Put it on that side.
are they on that side? We take the they were riveted. They were hot pressed and riveted originally.
Yep.
And you got to love the construction. I was like bitching a little bit to you about it, but
Yeah.
also like impressed at the technology back then and what they were actually doing. Like they weren't going 100 miles an hour, but they hot pressed these center pieces into those rims, and they're riveted in on top of that, riveted. So it was interesting getting those out. And then I went to the junkyard, was able to procure for $15 a set of spare Steelies, and we plasma cut the centers out. So
So do those bolt to the drum?
so
Factory, they rivet.
well, he's actually asking about the pattern itself.
Like
So the wide 5 pattern, that was a factory pattern Ford had.
Yeah, that bolts into the
right. But I
to
guess
the drum.
I mean, like, so the brake drum
Yeah.
or whatever
Yep.
was that
the studs
big,
come right
Yeah.
or
through
they were
this-
that far out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why that's where the wide 5
Yeah.
comes into play. So,
Right.
my intention is to run these probably on the front with adapters, and on the rear, I've got a quick change that I'm getting from our friend Ricky Neal. Which, if you see episode 5, I don't know if we touch on it, but that's the gentleman that I bought that quick change from.
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going to be running in the sedan. So, quick little.
So the adapters will adapt from a normal
So they'll
5
go
to a
from
wide five?
this wide 5 to a 4 3/4, which is what I'm running. There's a Malibu, like a mid-70s Malibu setup I'm doing on the I-beam up front. So with disc brakes, so that'll convert that. So hopefully it all works out. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
And that is the tech talk for today.
There you go. Right.
Yeah, we made Javier made a wheel.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've heard of Wi 5. I just didn't
Didn't
know
reinvent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
It's
seen.
probably,
I've
it might
seen
not even
those and
work.
I've
We don't
heard
even know if it's
Wi-Fi.
going to work. Mike, how many times have you tried this?
Yeah, I've tried this actually 3 other sets, and I have yet to come out with one wheel that worked validly.
There's some pretty impressive videos where people have successfully done it. It requires like a jig. If we had a lathe that was the size of that Camaro sitting over there, you could stick a barrel in there and do it that way, but we don't. So it's crude, and we do what we can with what we have. So.
Right. So the wheels on the Mercury were the same way because it's got I've got a Camaro clip. It's clipped, so it's a Camaro front suspension under it, and it's a little wide. So I think it was EXK Customs in California. He's kind of the Merc guy out there.
Right.
He chops a lot of Mercs, and it's kind of his deal. He made the rims for me. He went to high school with the owner of Wheel of Antiques, and went over there and bought the rims and then bought the hubs and just made a custom offset for that clip. So it still rubs, but it rubs because it's really low.
Yeah.
You know,
You did that.
I did that.
You
That's
cut
my fault.
coils and did some
That's
silly stuff. didn't
I
you?
did silly stuff, so that's why. But yeah, I mean, you know, and I think to that point, what you guys are talking about, he did that on a lathe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. I mean,
so
that is
that's
the
right.
most. I mean, to get a micrometer on it and do it.
Yeah,
where
but I
it's
mean,
true.
that's not how they did it back in the day.
No, and I'll tell you, like we didn't
know?
even go into all the way the thing, but the way we wound up doing it was pretty crude. It was Mike's idea because we were going back and forth for a while about how to do this.
Yeah.
Successfully because you had tried, and we wound up taking off that group of parts we bought
Yeah.
out in LaGrange. Help me out where we
Man,
went.
I don't know. It's
Lagrange isn't that far.
It wasn't. It was further out.
It's an hour and a half east.
It was on the other
of
side of Jackson, but
Yeah.
that wide 5 rear end.
Lexington.
That's the
it,
one.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey,
Look at the look
You've
at
got
the
family up in
Hey,
there.
I was a geography major in college.
look at the
Tennessee.
brain on 'em.
I'm in the tri-state area.
So wait a minute. You were a geography major.
Yes.
And you're a photographer.
Yes.
So okay.
That's all
okay.
right. I went into computers. Well, let's see.
I like to take
owned a
pictures.
furniture manufacturing business. Then I went into computers. Then I was in auditing, and then now I'm
I have a bachelor's degree in history and sociology.
nice.
So there you go.
And you're doing computers,
Yeah,
or
whatever the hell I do.
cameras, or something. I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
We were all lost, you know. Now we're
Yeah.
found, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you
Was
know, you
blind?
if you go
Now I see.
when you go into college, you don't know anything about the world, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a business major, or I'm going to be this or whatever. You know, like you just go in, and you're like, okay, whatever. And I started out in business, and then I figured out like, oh wait, I got a lot of math I got to do, and I barely made it through math. And I was like, oh, I'll be a geology major because I like rocks and stuff. Yeah, well, that requires more math. So I said, nope, forget it. What does not require that much math? Geography. Boom, I'm there.
What the hell brings
Out.
you to the point to where you're like, I mean, I kind of like rocks.
I'm gonna make a living.
I threw one through a window once.
Yeah, right. No, I really did. I was always interested in
Rocks.
Agates.
strata.
I'm a,
Yeah.
Strata.
You know, my college experience was the exact same thing. You know, I went in there completely lost.
But if you go in
crack rocks.
if you go into geology though, then you can get in with like an oil company or something like that and make a lot of money.
Oh, so
Oh,
you went
there,
in
yet
with-
again, we go right to the point.
It's always to the money, but you know
Yeah.
what? I never got a lot of money, and I've been going.
How's that
I've
working
been
out
going
for you?
backwards. I've been going backwards ever since auditing. So
That's
all right.
But you
that's,
know,
that's why you can't focus on the money, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no,
yeah, for sure.
no, and that I mean, I quit auditing.
Yeah.
You know, because I couldn't handle my life anymore doing that. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. And
numbers game. It was a numbers game.
No,
Auditing?
Well, no, I was doing IT auditing, so it was reading a lot of process and procedure documents
hate
and all
reading.
that, and making sure that he's got passwords protected and all that stuff. It was.
Did people call in
it
and
was-
like troubleshoot stuff with you?
That sounds
no.
horrible.
No, no.
I could not do that.
No, that
It's
was
like-
before. That was the job before. Like I started out doing like, computer support. Like I was down at AutoZone headquarters for we were contracted, contracted
dropper.
company.
Right.
Yeah.
Name dropping.
Yeah, but no, we were down there, and so we had the call center or whatever,
Yeah.
if you want to call it. So I did that. I did that for a while, and then then I got up to like network stuff, and it was you are always on call.
Oh,
and
yeah.
somebody would always call you at 3 o'clock in the morning because they couldn't print.
Sean,
And it was like, oh my
Sean
God.
knows exactly what you're talking about.
I've been on call for 13 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's man, it was.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I don't know how it is in your discipline, but like what I was doing, you had to have Microsoft certifications and stuff, and then every 2 years,
Bill Gates on the wall.
well, every 2 years or whatever,
Yeah.
you would have to have.
Research.
You would have to
Recert.
be recertified.
They
I'm
do
like,
that- they
I'm
do
like,
that.
Man, I don't want to be 65 years old and having to be recertified yet again for Windows 52. Or
I'm not
whatever.
taking anything away from
Yeah,
Windows
like,
52,
yeah.
but we have to do like you do that in the medical field also.
Well,
Like you want the guy
Well,
that's
yeah.
responsible. I'm
Well,
not talking about
that's
me. I'm
fine.
talking about the doctor.
Okay, well, yeah, no, I mean that's fine with me.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, I really don't think computer-wise that's necessary. It's necessary for a doctor.
We haven't changed the way hearts work. Like
the same
it's a
for
little crazy to me.
1,000
So like,
years.
But there's
like
a lot of
if you
new
use,
stuff
so would
that
you
comes
say?
out,
Yeah, they changed the ratios according to AHA guidelines.
Yeah, I don't know. I
We're
just
getting
didn't
off
want to have
topic.
to.
What I
know.
was trying to say was
I didn't want to take
what
the
I was
test
trying
all
to
the time.
whip it all back to you, and why
Yes.
I'm glad you ran that way was that I turned 40 this year, and you're 150.
Oh,
so
you're
the whole-
almost at your midlife
almost at
crisis. That's what I had.
What is it when you hit 150? Like
Well,
my next slide. You're on the next slide.
I've had more than one midlife crisis.
You're on two. You're on midlife crisis number 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Post crisis. We're in crisis.
Hey, my dad says he's in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know what the saddest version of that I've ever heard is like he's in the autumn of his life. And I'm like,
autumn?
what?
Oh my God.
The
Gotta
autumn
quit
of his
hanging
life.
out with millennials.
Yeah.
I gotta stop reading.
Bad when
But
you
what
get-
I'm saying
bad
is,
when you get to winter.
let's pull it all back. The what I'm saying is,
Yes.
I've come to a point in my life where it's so much. You're so much more confident when in what you're doing and
Right.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you also realize that if you're on the path that you don't want to be on, it's not too late. Still yet. I mean, maybe
Absolutely.
at 150,
Absolutely.
but like.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. It
It
doesn't
really
matter if you're 40, 50, 60, or 100 or 150. Back to the hot rods thing. You finally like realize like I do want to do that, and
Yeah.
those skills are there, and there's still people that are willing to, more than willing. They're excited.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I'm excited when people
yeah,
are like,
yeah.
"Hey man, you do that car stuff." I was like, "Yeah, I do a lot of Airstreams, but I'm building like 4 cars."
Right.
And I'm excited when somebody else gets excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, hats off to Mike, though, because he's the only one out of the 4 of us that works. Well, other than Shawn. But you have a different, but like
Yeah,
Mike,
I had a different path. Yeah.
Yeah, but Mike works with people building cars, and man, car people are crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. I hats off to you, brother.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have
okay.
nothing to say about the way you run your business, but it would stress me out.
It's
You're so kind.
stressful.
You're so kind, and
It's
I don't know if it's
stressful.
going to always be. You're always going to be able to give the investment of time to anybody who walks in the door. But I'm always felt like you're at a deficit
Well, I mean,
because you're so welcoming.
well, it's kind of part of the, I tried for a while, I'd lock the door, right? You only set appointments, like you have to set an appointment with me. And then I tried like, okay, so for you to come and look at your car, like you can come on a Friday, right? And I've tried all these things and other shops do it. Like there's a lot of guys out there that do it. And that's fine. It works great for them. One, the front of my building has windows in it. We can't hide in here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you just show up and you want to look at your car and it's not a Friday and it's not visiting hours and you can see me in here working, waving at you, right? Right? They're gonna be like, well, that guy's a douche, right? But also,
that's your car. Like that. I mean, that's a client's car that they random check-ins is cool. I'm saying like
Yeah, it
people off
doesn't-
the street. You invest so much time with guys that are never even going to really have no intention, and you don't know what their intentions are.
Right.
So that's the thing, though. I mean, you're
part of the
taking.
you're part of the well.
Yeah, you got to take the chance,
but-
right? You never know. You never know what's going to hit.
right. And
It's
I
it's
think-
kind of like George Poteet. He comes walking up in his coveralls or whatever.
Right.
And if you don't know him, you're like, oh, what's this farmer doing here?
Right.
Well, yeah, he's got
No, I mean, it's just saying,
he's got $1 billion he can throw in.
And I don't envy
your
Mike
shop,
for that.
you know?
Like the
Yeah.
balance that he has to play is like as a business owner, you have to be nice. Well, you should be. I don't say you have
Right.
to do anything. It's your
Right.
business.
Right.
Capitalism is going to dictate whether you do well or
Oh,
not.
I can tell you
based on
there's
how
a dude in
do.
Albuquerque that ain't cool. That
Well,
There's dudes everywhere that aren't.
there's a lot of guys, the
Yeah.
people that flew in from Canada,
Yeah.
and they flew in from Canada. I knew they were coming. They were like, man, it would be really cool if I could just swing by your shop. And like me, I'm like, man, I got a little bitty shop like in Memphis, Tennessee, and like we like doing cool stuff, but like don't come here expecting, some TV show, blah blah blah. Like that's just not who we are. That's not the shop we are. Our shop is very old world, and I like it being old world. And they're like, well, if we just come by and check it out, I'm like, okay, but I was just setting them up like, I don't know what you're expecting.
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah.
know what you're expecting, but this is a hot rod shop, and like, it's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're expecting that TV stuff, that ain't gonna happen. And they showed up, and like, I still keep in contact with them. Well, they showed up, and they thought it was gonna be like a 5-minute, like, walk through and like, hey, nice to meet you, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, look, where are you staying? I'm like, oh, we're staying at an Airbnb down the street. I'm like, okay, super cool. Well, how long do you think it'll take you to get checked in, settled in, blah blah blah? And they were like, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I'm like, cool. Go get your stuff taken care of and swing up back by the shop. So I call my wife. I'm like, hey, look, I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. These people flew up from Canada. Like,
Here's Mike. There's your time problem right there.
yeah. But I mean, the people flew from Canada.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I can throw a couple hours at you. Take them through Memphis. Show them.
Well, you're an ambassador
Yeah.
for the city.
Yeah. Well, I
and
mean,
it's
I feel that way.
And it's not just hot rods. I mean,
Right.
we started this thing to promote the city
Right.
and the culture of
Right.
hot rods. So,
Right.
yeah, no, I get it.
Well, and I think you should treat people the way that you want to be treated.
You-
I've met plenty of people that are somebody in the car community.
Yeah, I mean-
and they're douches.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to be that guy.
Though, the one thing that I gotta say, as far as like hot rod shop owners and stuff, like I haven't come across that many douches.
Really?
I mean, well, they're normal people. Like, okay, maybe they're busy at the time or whatever, but like all the people that I've met.
Man,
that
I
I've come
think-
across, maybe is because of the reason I'm coming across them, right?
Right, right.
But like,
Well, you're the
you know,
photographer, right?
Yeah, right.
You're the
right.
you're
I'm there for a reason, and
right.
and
well, you're the photographer,
yeah.
right?
You're there to make 'em look
and,
good.
and you're
Yeah.
messing around with magazines, and you deal with that end of the deal.
Yeah.
So of course, when you show up, they're on their best behavior.
yeah.
But when Joe Schmo shows up, like from down the street, they're like, "Get out of here."
I was Joe Schmo in Albuquerque when I had that problem with my rear end on Route
Right,
66,
right.
and that dude was.
yeah, right.
You know, but that's an experience.
Oh yeah, it was an experience. All right,
Well,
it was
I
an
mean-
experience. I'd love to trash him, but I like.
But the whole thing
Yeah.
behind that, Shawn, is like it's experiences like that make you appreciate even more so experiences like the Canadians coming to meet a stranger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like you have to have a backdrop of like, ooh, that could be bad,
right.
and then
Well-
so that you know what
Oh yeah,
great
and then,
is.
and then when you meet somebody over the top and
It all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, it makes your
And
yeah, it
those
makes your day for
people,
sure.
they had went to different like name shops. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
People
yeah.
that are somebody, and that was one of the things they told me before they left. They were like, "Man, I cannot thank you enough for your kindness, your hospitality. We've went to this shop and that shop, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the shops, but we went to these shops, and like these people." You have to look through the glass at the shop, and
Yeah.
like the only thing you're talking to is
Did
the
I ever
front
tell you?
counter.
Did I ever tell you my story about going to Foose's?
No.
Oh man, I don't want to bash Foos. Are we about to do
I'm
that?
not bashing Chip. I'm not bashing
I don't
Chip
wanna do that.
himself. It's not Chip.
You're right.
Because I met Chip before, and he drew a picture of my car, all that kind of stuff, right? So I do Route 66. I get to the end of it, and whatever. And a friend of mine sets me up, says, "Hey, go down to Long Beach, and see Chip Foose." Now, granted, this was during COVID, right?
Right.
So they had the gate locked,
Right.
and so I'm kind of standing out there. I got my camera, got my Auto Enthusiast Network shirt on, right?
Right. You're
And the
trying
gates
to-
didn't just pop open.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So I'm standing there, and I didn't want to yell in the shop. You can see people moving around the shop. I don't want
Right.
to yell, whatever. So I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to like make contact with me or whatever.
Right.
So finally, I see this guy taking pictures in there, and finally he comes walking out, and he's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I was just wondering if I could, come in,
I'm
see Chip,
Shawn,
whatever,
Auto
and-
Enthusiast Network,
whatever, all that." And
One shot could
yeah.
make or break you.
and I mentioned my friend's name, and he was like, "Oh no," and then just walked off. And the way that he said, "Oh no," I thought he was just joking.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought he was going, "Okay, go in
Right.
and figure out who opened up the thing." So I stand there for like another 10 minutes. I'm like, I guess it's happening.
Oh, that was a real no.
I guess.
Just ghosted you.
He thought he was like mango. Like you were like, okay.
Yeah,
and
like
then when you turned around, he was like, no.
Yeah, he's back in there. He's back in there taking pictures and stuff. So I'm like, okay,
You
well.
can't have a mango.
Yeah, so I'm standing there, and then finally somebody else comes over, and I don't know. I don't know,
Better
it was a shop
credentials, got
manager.
right in?
I don't. Nope, never got in.
Well, then you shouldn't feel bad about that. They weren't singling you out. They were singling everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe they had a closed event.
Well, no, I wasn't saying it was a personal thing. It was just kind of like, okay, I mean, I did Route 66. I came all the way down there from wherever,
right.
and like I said industry friends' names. I won't say who they were.
Right.
And it was a bad thing. But
Yeah.
then I went around 2 shops over from him is the gosh, I can't remember his name now. He paints his cars.
In the
and
defense,
they were
though.
great. They were great.
Lanzini?
They were awesome.
Is it Lanzini?
Lanzini's.
Yeah.
Lanzini was totally awesome, totally great. Let me walk in.
They're
He showed me some of the
they're
cars. and
behind
all
the
that
same
kind of stuff.
fence. Like they go from Fab Shop,
It's like 2 doors over.
but they just roll it on the dolly, don't they? usually?
If they do, they roll it down up the street. But yeah,
Okay.
Well,
seen
and
it.
I think they make it look like
It could have been TV.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's
Right next to
Hollywood
it, yeah.
smoke and mirrors. But in
Right.
in all of the shop's defenses, and in their defense too, I completely understand. I mean, I have days where people just come by and come by and come
Yeah,
by and come
no.
by,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to get stuff done,
Yeah.
right? And I can imagine, like, I'm a nobody from
This was
Memphis,
during
Tennessee.
COVID. They weren't doing tours.
Like I can imagine that a big name, shop, that they deal with that so much and so frequently that it's hard to be productive, and I understand that. I really do. But for me personally,
Wouldn't you say though that is a little bit of a special case if there's like a photographer with like I'm in the industry.
anybody
well,
with
and,
a-
to
with
me,
an
and I'm going to tell you
Canon.
this, and for whatever reason, photographers come by here all the time just because my building looks really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And normally there's
Yeah,
an
and you
old
got a
car
bunch of cool
sitting out
crap to take
front.
pictures of.
Right,
I'll do
right.
that, yeah.
So they come by here all the time.
Yep.
I always let photographers in.
Yeah,
I don't
should.
care
Yeah.
what kind of
Hey,
photographer
I'll
they
tell you
are.
what. We
Right.
went by a hot rod shop in Kingman, Arizona.
Yeah.
Just on a whim, I was like, oh, we'll just stop here. And we stopped there. Man, greatest people ever.
Right.
And I mean, they weren't even supposed to be there. It was on a Saturday or
Yeah.
something. And they just happened to be there to do something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they ended up talking to us for about an hour. And then we left Kingman. And then that's when I figured out the air conditioner wasn't working on the Fairlane. And I was like, oh, great. I'm like, we're fixing to head across the desert, And so Jen was
gonna need
freaking
that.
out, and my wife was freaking out, and she's like, can we go back and see if they're still open? I said, all right, we'll see, So we went back, and they were shutting the door. And the guy came, I mean, like, I didn't even pull up.
Right.
I was in the street, and he came out and was like, something wrong, whatever. And I was like, yeah, the air conditioner's not working. He opens the shop back up.
What a dude.
And they put. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's what you expect too. Like, I mean, if you're driving a hot rod across the country,
Right.
like somebody to help you like that's freaking awesome.
Right.
That's totally how it should be.
Yeah, that's how we think hot rod community should be.
Yeah,
but I've
absolutely.
found that in traveling, like a lot of other places don't share the same sentiments that the South do. Like they're just like, all right,
there you
great,
go.
you got an old car, wonderful. I'm gonna
So
go
I got a real
about
question
worrying
about that.
me.
Like serious question about that. Do you feel that people that are in that of the latter, which is that they're not into helping people, they're not real hospitable? Do you
Right.
think that comes out in their work, or
No, I don't
Not
think
always.
so. I don't think so.
you
I
can
don't
just
think
be
so
a
at all.
total d-bag and still have beautiful cars?
I don't think they're as creative,
Well, no, they're more engineer minded, and that's
or they're
kinda
more,
different.
or they're more like finish the car, or
right.
get the thing fixed or whatever, and move on.
I
to the
feel
next
like you
thing.
would miss some of the, like what you were saying, some of the original artistry, and like
Well, I mean,
there's
it just-
emotion in these cars. Like
It
when you
just
see it, you're
depends
like,
on,
Exactly.
on your approach to a car. Now, some people, it's very
More mechanical.
engineer, mechanical minded that you do A, B, C, D, right? And get the car finished. I personally, of course, I'm biased. I'm an artist. So,
Yeah.
so for me, like, I feel like you can see that in the car. Like,
Well, that's
and
what I
I've
was
seen
getting
some
at.
beautiful cars but I could still see that mechanicalness to it. Not in the passionate sense, but like in the like engineer A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
You know, and I feel like you can see that versus someone that's more artistic minded. Like you can see expression in the car. I feel like
Yeah.
you can see that, but again, I might be biased because I'm an artist. So, like for me, it's
You know-
a lot of heart going.
You know,
in it.
though, I think a lot of car builders that are car builders, right?
Right.
Like, you know, that are building amber cars and whatever like that.
Riddlers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're more artistic or creative than somebody who's maybe more closed off, who's just like, you know, maybe
This is a product.
restore a car
This
to
is a product.
exact, yeah, and it, like restore a car to an exact
Yeah.
specification and
Well,
that's it.
that guy on TV that does the Dodges.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That does
Yeah.
what?
Right.
The Dodgers.
What's the show?
yeah,
What's the show?
the graveyard cars.
I have
Graveyard
the
cars,
utmost
yeah.
respect for that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's a purist by like the absolute definition of the word.
sure,
But like
he's a Dodge guy.
he's a
Yeah.
guy that
Right. Yeah.
he's a guy though based on what you see on
Yeah, you're
television,
right.
which of course you know
Edited
television
for
is always
television,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, you know he could be like the nicest guy ever, but he comes across on
Well, they paint
television
the picture like,
yeah, he's kind of an ass,
well,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he can be. I mean,
I don't
he's,
watch
he's,
TV.
Yeah, I know. He's yelling at his people, but well, heck, go all the way back to American Hot Rodders,
Right.
or to
Right, to
Boyd.
Boyd.
You know,
Yeah.
Boyd looked like you wouldn't want to be friends with him, but he had a lot of friends.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
and I always heard that guy was a fantastic dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
I hate
really
that.
did.
You know what's terrible about that? That
I
you,
always heard that.
yeah.
anybody at the table met him when he was alive?
No.
No.
You felt the same thing maybe I'm about to say, which is that was one of the only things you could watch at the time on
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
channel,
Yeah, I mean,
Discovery
it was
or whatever
it
it was
was
on.
like the first
And
one.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're glued because you're like, oh, content.
Right.
Before
Yeah.
content was content. You're like,
Right.
oh, that's
You
we
gotta
don't
have
a,
it.
we don't have a word for it, but we're gonna watch that because that's the only place to get the smack.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So the editing in that made him look like such a piece of crap.
Well, I mean,
to me,
you also have to think about Hollywood and how
I understand,
they
but
how
like-
Oh,
they
yeah.
It's gotta make it
but
good.
that's the
they
nightmare.
have to grab people, and that's the thing. They want to sell the drama. They wanna
manufactured
sell
drama
the-
is a complete turnoff to me.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
in
no,
this
I
world.
agree. I
Like
mean,
when
that-
I like natural stuff and I get it. You can't. Not every moment is going to be special, and it's hard on these directors and producers to be like, okay, well that's B-roll. We got a lot of B-roll.
Right.
Like,
Right.
when you're going here and you're shutting the door and you keep the audio on and you're fake crying and
Right.
stuff about like.
Well, I'm not.
I mean,
into
like, that
all of
really-
that,
Well, he
but-
real cries a lot.
Yeah,
So.
but look at what came out of Boyd's place. Foos came out of Boyd's place.
well, that's what.
Sure.
So that's
You
what I'm
know
talking about.
saying?
So they're
Jesse James worked for Boyd.
So their painter,
That's true, yeah.
Their painter was leaving. The episode I'm specifically talking about, Boyd's wife and Boyd. It was a big controversy. The guy with the goatee,
Right.
I forgot his name.
I don't
Jim.
know. Don't
It's
get me in
Jim.
line.
Was it Jim?
I don't know. Probably.
Jim.
He looked like a
Jim Spray guy. Anyway, he was
Charlie?
giving his notice or
Charlie?
whatever.
I don't know.
He was giving his
I think
notice.
it was Charlie actually.
Charlie, I think Charlie was on that. Charlie Hutton.
It's
He
him.
went to. So here's the deal.
Charlie Hutton
Well, you'll
plays
know for
Carter,
sure when I
yeah.
tell you this. He left Boyd's and went to Foos.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the episode when he left.
And I think he's
and-
on his own now. I think it's Charlie Hutton.
and
I
it
could
was-
be wrong.
I think you're right.
I was like, I could do without all this. Like, I get it. People change shops, and honestly,
Yeah.
if Boyd's legacy, if I don't know how it was actually, but how it was portrayed was this big betrayal, and anybody but the quote was, "Did it have to be Foos?"
Right.
Anybody but Foos. And you could almost see,
Right,
You
right.
could almost see Boyd's wife on her knees going, "No,"
Yeah.
behind the
Well,
thing,
yeah.
and I know that was TV drama, but at the same time, I was like, man.
Well,
I could
you
do
know,
without
the
this.
weird part about that is like that type of drama actually is real in car world.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
When you leave shops and you go out on your own,
They blackball
or
you.
you leave shops and you go to another shop, it's a very dramatic type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
in a
you-
lot of
yeah, 'cause,
cases,
I mean,
they'll
you-
never talk to you again,
Well-
or it takes years.
Well, because it's personal too.
Right.
You know, I mean, it.
Well,
in
you're
a way,
investing in
yeah,
each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You are.
You know, I've helped this guy. I've taught him some stuff,
Right.
whatever, and now he's taking it to my competitor.
Right.
I see the
I get it.
I see the
I get it.
competition, but also at some point I'm like, I'm a farm for greatness.
Right.
Honestly, like I grew this guy up to a certain point, and he feels like he can go do bigger things somewhere else. I'm a little bit hurt by that. I guess that's just how I'm built. I'm
Well,
like, you know what?
I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
100%
I want everybody to be as the maxed out potential as they want on this
Yeah.
planet in their life that they're given
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So
but you want it at your shop.
Now,
No,
see,
no.
here's the thing: is if somebody works for me and they roll out and like what they learned here or the skills, because
But
here's the
going
thing.
to another shop, though, I
Right,
mean, like
but here's
if they're
the thing,
breaking
though,
out on their own,
is
I
the
could
big
get that.
well, even if they're going to another shop, here's the thing: is first and foremost, like you think a lot of yourself if you think that person's learning experience while they worked for you was your doing. Right, you're thinking way too highly of yourself just on the beginning.
Yeah.
Like their sweat, their tears,
They
their
built themselves
focus,
as much as you helped them. It's
Their
less.
stuff. Now you may have given them a better environment,
yeah.
and you may have helped them along with guidance. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much guidance you give somebody, how much equipment that you give them, how much of whatever you give them. If they're not focused themselves, they're not willing to put their own sweat equity in it, going home, studying, researching, and letting it consume their lives, they're never going to grow anyway. So you didn't do anything. That's the biggest deal. Is like they take it so personally, like they like held your hands and made you work better. You know what I'm saying? I don't look
Yeah.
at it like that. Like
Yeah.
if people grow while they're working for me and they become better than me and then they roll out like it just is what it is. Like I'm not mad at them. And if they're doing better somewhere else than they're doing with me and it makes their life better, like I'm like, you know what? I just feel like I may have had
Yeah,
a little
I'm glad I was
in
part of
that.
your story,
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
glad-
Do your thing,
and
make it great.
And if it's not ugly, they're always going to look back at that. Unless it ended horribly wrong, they're always going to look back and be like, "Man, I cut my teeth on that lathe over there,
Right.
or
well, and
on
I've,
that."
I've
on
had
that
it
bead
in
roller."
ugly and like, you know, and done kind of shady and like, you know, through text messages and blah, 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 you know, like on Friday after you pay a guy and like, you know, I've had it done to where I'm just like, dang, like for real? Like, okay, you know, you could have just said, hey man, you know, I'm not happy here. I'm feeling like, but people won't do that.
Well-
and they'll do it ugly. But even still, even despite all that, like, I still wish the best for you. Like I want to see you win too.
Well, at the end of the day, competition breeds greatness. Like,
Right.
You know, like
Right.
if they leave and they start putting you on your toes, then maybe you got to. It's time to. I was
Then
sitting back for a little while. Maybe it's time to step my game up.
That's it.
That's
Step it up.
you know that's the way that I look at it. You know, if someone working for me winds up going out on their own and becomes better than me, then like I feel like I can't be mad at them. I should be mad at myself. Like I'm all about taking personal responsibility. And if they leave and they wind up better than me, then like at the end of the day, I should have been focused on my craft more. That's just the way I look
Yeah.
at it. Like I should have been putting in the time to stay on my game. And that's just I don't know. I've experienced that personally. That's probably why I'm passionate about it. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I just think that people have a tendency to like put themselves on these pedestals like, well, he wouldn't be anything if I didn't blah blah like bullshit. Guys that are like dedicated, they're gonna be great. It doesn't matter if you help them along or not. They're going to do it. You
Yeah.
know, and that's just certain guys, like the guys that are meant to do it. You
Yeah.
know?
So
Well,
I
it's all
had
about passion.
no idea we were going to get this freaking philosophical. Man.
Right,
This
right.
is deep.
Yeah.
This is so deep.
We don't
man.
normally do it, but you
So
know, you
everyone
brought
out
up
there, if you're
something.
thinking about leaving the guy you work for, now's the time.
Yeah, right.
Valentine's Day is over. Let's
the
rip that
honeymoon
Band-Aid off and come on down to Steel Rose.
No,
we got
man,
to.
I personally think like do whatever you can to make people like go toward their dreams, work toward their dreams, work toward whatever they're passionate about, and invest in them without any strings attached. I don't understand why people always want to attach strings. Like yeah, I'm going to invest in you as long as I see a return on it.
Yeah, I
like,
hate
come
that.
on, dude,
I hate
for
that.
real. Like you get a return yourself on what you're doing,
Right.
and if they go do greater things,
But
then
that's not the shop
absolutely,
they need
more
to be in
power to them.
anyway.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
Like if
For
that's
sure.
if those are the strings you're going to tie me to, then I don't need to be here.
Well, and people this day and age, they love to try and tie strings. Like I'm only proud of you as long as you're making me money. Like,
Oh.
come on, dude, for real.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason why you're doing
Help
this.
me help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. All right.
What,
Well,
what are you thinking there, Shawn? How are we doing on time?
We're knocking on the door of an hour right now, guys. So,
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
there
sorry
we
I
go.
got super deep on it.
It's all right,
It's
dude.
crazy.
no, I think it's a good insight for people
Who aren't shop
especially-
owners, or even young shop owners,
or people
Yeah.
who are thinking about getting in the industry, right?
Right,
You know,
yeah.
so it's good. I mean, it happens in every industry.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things though to think about when you're starting your career, and if there's things that you need to think about beforehand
Yeah.
and know where you're going.
Yeah.
Is the place that you're going, are they really gonna help you? Are they going to build you?
and that's so
you up.
important when you're starting out and you started a shop like that. Actually, whether you realize it or not,
Right.
That's going to dictate your whole attitude about choosing to do this as a
Well,
real thing. I think.
Here's the thing, though: is hot rod, like, to do this for a living is so hard. It's extremely hard to do this for a living. You're not going to make $1 million like they say on TV.
Right.
Like you are working for a living. You're going to
Maybe the owner will.
Well, that's what they always like
right.
to tell you. Well, I'm the owner, and I can tell you this right now: like, my guy gets paid before I get paid.
Well-
and it's on point every time.
Right.
I might not get paid for a month.
Yeah.
He gets paid on every week.
I was gonna say it depends on what you're doing.
Right,
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Johnson just bought Poteet's Ford JT.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we gonna bring that.
Oh, yeah.
Save some for next week, baby.
Right.
No.
But this is a hard industry to be in, and here's the thing: is I feel like really quick whether they're going to last in this industry. Like, a lot of guys watch it on TV and they'll show up, and they want to do it until you start doing it. You're
It's like
man, this is a lot of
I
work.
was gonna say it's like Deadliest Catch. You ever watched that?
No, I don't watch TV.
Oh yeah, that's right. You watch TV. Well, Deadliest Catch. I mean, it's where they're catching crab on.
Right. You're gonna
up
know.
there in Alaska, and like
Right.
these guys are like, oh, I could do this, and they get out there and they're
Yeah.
puking their guts out, and they can't, they can't bend their hands anymore.
Yeah.
Just another greenhorn
Yeah,
that the
that's
sea took back.
That's right. Green horns.
I had a friend of mine who did
I watch
that,
TV.
and
Really?
he washed out in about a week.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
You know what's
I kid
terrible
not.
about that? I'm going
Yeah.
to assume some things and you confirm them.
Yeah.
They have to buy that gear or from the captain or rent it.
I don't know.
You should ask him.
I've never asked.
So early in my waiting tables when I was just a young pup,
Yeah.
16, a guy left
Yeah.
Cattleman Jack's, R.I.P. that place because it was delicious on Highway 51 in Millington. The best country fried steak with gravy ever.
I'm so hungry right now.
I know. It's getting late. We're going to start talking about food, but that guy left, and everyone's like, "Good, okay, Jeremy, do it, man." And that show wasn't a thing. He was back in 6 months, and he had
Yeah.
tales to tell of an old sailor. Like,
Oh,
he's
my
like,
God.
"Let me tell you something. That captain, he charged me for this, that, and the other." I was like, "Well, did you have any of that stuff when you showed up?" It's like working for the company store. I'm telling you right now. It's
Yeah.
like, you didn't have the gear. You had to get the gear to work, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, I mean, there's certain trades and there's industries that like you're gonna know really quick, like whether you're gonna make it or whether you're not gonna make it. And I think that fishing is definitely one of those trades you're gonna find out real quick whether they're for real or
Man,
not.
that's some scary stuff out there.
And metalworking seems to be the same. Like, you find out real
Yeah.
quick, like, you're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
I
tell you, Mike, you got me thinking all my life choices over there, brother.
Yeah.
Killing
Sorry,
it.
man. Sorry.
We're getting too deep over here.
Stay where you're at, man. Stay where you're at.
Man. I don't know. How did I get here, man?
Where do we go from here?
I know, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right,
All
man.
I know is you need to stay where you're
I
at.
got you, bro.
Yeah.
You're not my
Beyond the
type.
rest of us, for sure.
You are not my type.
I think he's talking about you being the engineer on the board.
Okay. I got you.
No,
I don't know.
No, I'm saying stay where you're at with your
My
job.
job. Okay. I thought it was something
Nah,
else.
man,
What was he
pursue your
thinking,
dream.
man?
I was silently hoping it was something else. But go
Evidently.
ahead.
Hey, here, newsflash, that wasn't silent.
Here's
That was out in the open.
I just said that out loud. Didn't
Tune
I?
in next week when they become a couple. The Shawns. Oh, it's the Shawns.
So we wouldn't even
the
have
Shawn.
a cool name like Benifer.
It'd be the Shawns. The Shawns.
Shauna's.
No, we both
Sound like an old doo-wop song.
we both spelled it the same way too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Well,
To be fair, you're petting a dog right now. Just
Yeah, I know.
the
Life-
camera's on
Yeah,
you.
Hey,
even
life-
though you think something else going on, I got a dog underneath
Well,
me. Life
let's,
is good.
We're gonna put a bow on this thing. We're gonna call it an hour.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
put
We
a
can
bow
definitely
on
do
it.
that. What do you guys got?
Whoa.
Anything? Whoa, there you go. Anything
Yeah.
big coming up? I got. I'm shooting my 55 over in Arkansas.
You're
next-
55.
Yes, my
Absolutely. Under the bridge,
car.
like
Under the
like
bridge.
Red Hot Chili
Oh,
Peppers.
Friday, under the bridge.
Absolutely.
So, yep.
Dig
got
that.
got a couple guys coming over to help me out because. Well, first of all, to protect me, and then second of all, back up.
That's Shawn Young's problem now.
Yeah, right. No, second of all, I want to try and do some rollers if I can. And but man, I
Whoa,
did some
airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I did some just some scouting
message.
work over there last week, and just to try and see what it looked like. Man, it should be cool. I hope the sky does what it should do on Friday, and
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. So.
Well,
Absolutely.
before we wind all the way down, I just want to give a shout out to our buddy Gene.
Yes,
McCoy.
absolutely.
Thinking of you, man.
Anybody at home, if you're a prayer, throw one up. He's going through some stuff, and he's going to pull through. But
And if you're not a prayer, you should become
probably
one.
start paying. Pick it up for this exact reason. You could put it right back down, but
that's
you
right.
say something for my friend Gene McCoy right
That's
now.
exactly right. That's
So
exactly
you get on
right.
down there and you start.
Yeah,
saying
for
that.
those of you that don't know, Gene's been dealing with some health issues, and he had a knee surgery, and now he's dealing with a little bit more issues. And I don't really want to spit
We're
all
not
of
gonna
his
do that.
medical information out there, but
Well,
but
you
yeah.
might as well because Javi did it last time.
What's that? Oh no, that was. I mean, that was a different thing. I mean,
know.
Yeah.
he's
I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, he's it's going to be a long road, but he's going to be. I think we're going to pull through. And
think
just
so.
significant outside of being one of our really good friends, he's also, again, if you haven't listened to the other podcasts, he's very much tied into the Legends build, and we'll
Yeah.
plug that because we do every week. But he's the focus of this year's Legends build. We're doing a 36 Ford
Right.
cab. He's the financier behind that. That's his heart, and we're honoring him. So.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
Gene.
he's the genuine article. He is a real deal hot rod guy.
He's a real McCoy.
And
He is.
Yeah,
He's
right.
the real McCoy.
The real McCoy, and he's just down to earth.
Yeah.
Just-
Right.
just-
So, Gene, if
Humble,
you're listening,
humble
man, we're all thinking about you.
That's
definitely.
right. We love you, Gene.
So, all right, guys. Well, I guess that is it for episode 6, and we will be back for episode 7. Who knows who we will have as a guest? We're going to try and we'll probably try and get a guest for the next one, I would imagine.
Amen.
Now that we figured out how the audio works and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
and yeah. So anyway. Facebook page, YouTube page, subscribe to it,
Smash.
Spotify, smash the
the
like button, all that kind of stuff. So, Javi, take us away, brother.
With the 30s voice. Let me hear it. Get that camera focused on Javier. Where are you at? All right. Do it.
This
to
has
it.
been Hot Rod Blues, filmed in front of a live studio audience of 2 dogs on Hollywood. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Yeah, I like the down more than I like the overview of you.
Okay.
Put yours. Drop that one down. Same spot, just drop it down.
I love that view. Which one is it? That's that camera over there? So, this just in.